These aren't just stories. These are documented events that the United States actually lived through, strange, shocking, and completely unbelievable moments that still confuse historians today. So buckle up, because we're about to uncover 11 of the weirdest, most bizarre events in American history. Let's jump right in. 1. The Great Molasses Flood, 1919. It was a cold January afternoon in 1919. People in Boston were going about their normal day, completely unaware that within minutes, their city would be hit by a disaster so strange, it almost sounds made up. In Boston's North End stood a massive molasses storage tank, 50 feet tall, 90 feet wide. The tank was old, poorly maintained, and engineers had ignored the warning signs for years. Inside, pressure kept rising until 1:15 p.m. when a huge explosion tore the tank apart. Suddenly, 26 million pounds of thick, sticky molasses burst out and rushed through the streets like a brown tsunami. The wave moved at 35 miles per hour, giving people no chance to escape. Streets were swallowed under 5 feet of sticky syrup. People, horses, wagons, everything was trapped in this nightmare of sugar. The smell of molasses lingered in the air for months. 21 people were killed, over 150 were injured, and the cleanup took years. Even today, locals say that on hot summer days in the North End, you can still smell molasses in the air. The world called it the Boston Molasses Tsunami. 2. The Lost Colony of Roanoke, 1587. One of America's oldest and strangest mysteries. In 1587, a group of English settlers landed on Roanoke Island. Their leader, John White, returned to England for supplies, promising he'd be back soon. But he didn't return for 3 years. When he finally came back, he didn't find a thriving colony. He found nothing. Houses were dismantled. The village was empty. No signs of struggle, no bodies, no tracks, nothing except one word carved into a wooden post. Croatoan. What did it mean? Did the colonists move to nearby Croatoan Island? Were they attacked by tribes? Wiped out by disease? Or did something even stranger happen? No evidence has ever been found. In the 1800s, some native tribes had unusually European features, leading some to believe they were descendants of the missing colonists. But again, nothing was ever proven. Over 400 years have passed, and historians still consider Roanoke one of the biggest mysteries in American history. They simply vanished. This event inspired documentaries, books, and even horror shows, yet the truth remains unknown. 3. The Kentucky Meat Shower, 1876. March 3rd, 1876, Kentucky. A completely ordinary day, until chunks of red meat began raining from the sky. Yes, it literally rained meat. People ran outside and saw meat lying everywhere, on porches, roofs, fences, and yards. Some locals even tasted it and claimed it was similar to mutton or venison. Scientists were baffled. How could meat fall from the sky? The leading scientific explanation was that a flock of vultures vomited mid-flight. Vultures are known to throw up when stressed, but eyewitnesses insisted the chunks were too big, too fresh, and too widespread. Another theory, something extraterrestrial, but no actual proof was ever found. The event went down in history as the Kentucky Meat Shower, a one-time phenomenon that has never happened again. 4. The Roswell UFO Incident, 1947. Roswell, New Mexico, the most famous UFO mystery in American history. In the summer of 1947, a rancher found strange metallic debris scattered across his land. The Air Force publicly announced, "We have recovered a flying disc." Newspapers exploded with headlines. But within 24 hours, the military retracted the statement and claimed it was just a weather balloon. Why the sudden change? Years later, the government admitted that it wasn't a normal balloon. It was part of a top-secret program meant to detect nuclear tests. But UFO researchers still insist. The debris didn't behave like normal metal. Witnesses reported seeing bodies, and the government covered up the truths. Roswell became the birthplace of UFO culture in America, and to this day, thousands of tourists visit the site every year. 5. The Phantom Barber of Mississippi, 1942. During World War II, the town of Pascagoula, Mississippi lived in fear, not because of enemy attacks, but because of a mysterious intruder known as the Phantom Barber. People reported that a man was sneaking into homes at night and cutting their hair while they slept. That's it, he didn't steal anything, he didn't harm anyone. He just cut hair. 2 young girls had their braids cut off. Another woman woke up to find a lock of her hair on the pillow. Police increased security and at one point even arrested a suspect. But there was no evidence. The Phantom Barber vanished and he was never identified. To this day, no one knows who he was or why he did it. 6. The Great Airship Mystery, 1896-1897. Before flying saucers, before modern UFO sightings, America had the airship wave. From 1896 to 1897, people across the US reported seeing strange, futuristic airships in the sky, decades before airplanes became common. Witnesses described bright lights, metallic structures, and even people operating controls on board. Newspapers filled with dramatic accounts. Some claimed the ships were secret inventions. Others insisted they were visitors from another world. A few even said they spoke with the airship crew, who claimed to be from Mars. Were these illusions, early prototypes, or something else entirely? Historians still don't have a clear answer. This event is now considered America's first major UFO wave. 7. The Mount St. Helens Mystery Boom, 1980. In early 1980, right before Mount St. Helens erupted, people in Washington heard a massive, thunder-like boom that shook houses and rattled windows. But here's the strange part. Scientists said the sound didn't match any known geological event. It wasn't an earthquake. It wasn't a volcanic explosion. And it wasn't a military test. When the volcano finally erupted, it was officially recorded, but the original boom remains unexplained. Some believe it was an underground gas burst. Others think it was a shockwave from deep under the earth. And some believe it wasn't natural at all. The file remains unresolved. 8. Judge Crater's disappearance, 1930. Judge Joseph Crater, famous, wealthy, influential. On August 6, 1930, he left his apartment, waved to a friend outside a theater, and then vanished forever. No body, no clues, no answers. His bank accounts remained untouched. His passport was still at home. His personal belongings were intact. Investigators followed over 16,000 leads. None of them led anywhere. Newspapers named him the missingest man in New York. Even after decades of investigations, Judge Crater's disappearance remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. 9. The Secret Cities of the Manhattan Project, 1940s. When America built the atomic bomb, secrecy was so extreme that the government created entire hidden cities, cities that didn't appear on maps and technically didn't exist. Oak Ridge, Los Alamos, Hanford, thousands of workers lived there. They went to work every day, operated machines, followed instructions, without ever being told what they were actually building. Their letters were censored, phone calls monitored, questions forbidden. Only after the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki did these workers learn the truth. They had helped create the most powerful weapon in human history. Today, these secret cities are a reminder of how massive secrets can be built by thousands of people without anyone knowing the full picture. The Washington, D.C. UFO invasion, 1952. July 1952. Bright lights appeared over Washington, D.C., right above the White House and Capitol. Radar confirmed it. Unidentified aircraft, multiple targets. Air Force jets scrambled to intercept, but every time pilots got close, the objects vanished, then reappeared somewhere else. It happened again the next night, and again the night after that. Headlines screamed, UFOs over Washington. Under pressure, the government held a press conference and blamed temperature inversion. Radar experts disagreed. They insisted the readings were real. Even today, despite declassified documents, portions of the incident remain blacked out. It is still one of the most credible mass UFO sightings in American history. Clapperboard outro. So there you have it, 11 bizarre, mysterious, and completely unforgettable events from American history. Events that challenge logic, question science, and remind us that the world is far stranger than we think. Some mysteries never get solved. Some stories remain theories. And some events are so strange, they become legends. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what mystery you want covered next, or whether you'd like a deep dive episode on any of these events. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.